Today I'll be showing you how to make this backless top. You don't need a pattern and it's very easy to make, so welcome. If you're new here, my name is Sandra and this is my space where I sew things that you can easily sew too. Let's get into the tutorial. The fabric I'm using is Ankara, also known as kitenge or Dutch wax print. This is the right side of the fabric and this is the wrong side. It's 100% cotton and has a nice thickness to it. I recommend using a cotton fabric to make this design. For tools, you'll need a sewing machine, something to cut your fabric with, pins, an iron, and a loop turner, which you can substitute with a safety pin. Now, the pattern is very simple. It's essentially just a rectangle shape. The first thing you're going to do is take some measurements to cut two pieces which are in this rectangle shape. Measure the top of your bust where the top will sit, all the way just past your underarms. Then measure from this top line all the way under your bust until where you want to reach. To both of these measurements, we will add a 1 inch for seam allowance. Next, you'll need to cut out this shape with these dimensions onto your fabric. I use a rotary cutter and a ruler to help me keep my lines straight. Now, because my fabric also had lines, it made cutting a lot easier. Next, we're going to cut out some mini rectangle pieces which will make up the eyelets that allow us to lace the top through the back. My pieces were 2.5 inches wide and about 5.5 inches in length. Iron these rectangle pieces so they look like this with the right sides of the fabric facing each other. Using a sewing machine, sew a straight line along the raw edge, making sure to start and end with a back stitch so your stitching is secure. Using a loop turner, turn these pieces inside out so that the right side of the fabric is now showing on the outside, and then use an iron to press these so they're nice and flat. Now for the straps, you need these to be very long so they can lace through the back of the top and come through to the front to make a bow tie. To make these straps, I cut out 4 pieces of these long strips. Each was about 50 inches long and 2 inches in width. I attached the 2 pieces together to make a strap that was 100 inches long, and you do this by sewing the edges, making sure the right sides of the fabric are facing each other when you sew. I did this twice, so I ended up with 2 long straps, each measuring 100 inches length. After this, you will take one strap, fold it like this and iron, and do this all along the strap. Once you're done with one side, do this to the other side, and finally fold the fabric in half and iron again. This will result in a nice thick strap and the frayed edges being hidden inside your fold. Use your sewing machine to sew a straight line all along the strap. It's now time to assemble the top. You'll need to place one of the rectangle pieces we made earlier on a flat surface with the right side of the fabric facing up. Then take the eyelets that we also made and fold them like this right at the edge of each side of the rectangle. I have 5 on each side. Use pins to secure it to the fabric and place the pins as far from the edge as possible. This part will just make your life easier when we begin sewing. At the top and the bottom, make sure to leave a little bit of space. You don't want to catch the eyelets when you're sewing. Now, before you place the straps, you need to measure where you want them to sit and the space between the straps. Mine is 10 inches. So I folded the rectangle piece and marked the center with chalk. Then using tape measure, I marked out these 2 points for the straps, which were 10 inches between each. Place the straps like this and then secure them with pins. Now, because the straps are really long, you will need to roll them like this to make them small in order to do the next step. You then take the other rectangle piece that you cut and place it on top. Make sure the wrong side of the fabric is facing you and the right side is facing the inside. This is super important. Then use pins to hold the 2 pieces together along the edge. You'll need to sew these pieces together using a straight stitch all along the perimeter. You'll need to leave a gap to allow you to turn the piece inside out. As you sew your straight line, make sure to take out the pins as you go along to avoid damaging your machine. Once you finish sewing, turn it inside out and then sew this little opening together by folding the fabric inward like this to hide the seams, and then finish off with a straight stitch. Finally, all you need to do is lace the top up and put it on, and this is the final result. The double fabric and the corset lacing at the back means that you don't need a bra with it, and I just love this straight neckline. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for more. Happy sewing, huns, and I'll see you in the next one.